Yo, JD here, Limitless, and as you can see, back on F1 2021 as always, and today, this is a bit of a different experience, because this is my first time that I've done a league race on PC, and this is the league ORL, and you'll be able to see in this lobby, this is a very, very competitive one. My teammate Sven Zerner, who we were teammates in F1 Esports back in 2018, so that's definitely a blast from the past. And you have the current F1 Esports driver, Daniel Haddad, in here, along with many, many other future potential F1 Esports drivers, if not part of F1 Esports teams already. And this just gives you a bit of idea of the format. It's a very, very different format. But we're going to be showing just 2 races here today, and this was done quite a while ago, so I'd say a good 2 or maybe 3 weeks ago. The first race is at Bahrain, the second one at Monza, and I really just wanted to give an insight into my first experience playing on the PC. And when I was doing this race here, I've definitely improved a lot more since then, so this is all very, very alien to me, because a lot of people seem to think, as we're just getting a very, very nice slipstream from my teammate Sven Zerner, so very, very nice of him. A lot of people seem to think that the game is the same no matter what platform, but I can tell you it's a very, very different experience. My settings for my wheel do not work the same as they do on Xbox, so you really have to just adjust everything. The force feedback feels very different, just the game itself. Even the way you do the setups, you could be a lot more aggressive with the setups on PC. So this is really me just diving into the deep end, and I really hope you enjoy this, because this is definitely a big step up in terms of a challenge for me. Not necessarily the drivers, although the drivers, I think, from start to finish are probably more competitive, but just playing on PC as well for the first time is a really big challenge. But you can see, going through his first sector, we've done a 24.9 banker, so that's not too bad. And a 27.3 first is really not too bad at all. I didn't really have that much time to prepare for this race, along with the other races. Well, compared to the other races I've done since then, didn't really have much time at all. But I was pretty happy with how this lap was going. And my goal here is honestly was to get in the top 6, top 7 consistently each race, because the people in here, although you might not know some of them, they are very, very fast drivers, and as I said, a lot of them are F1 Esports Challenger drivers or Academy drivers, or trying to get an F1 Esports themselves. But we ran out wide on this lap, which would have been a pretty big improvement for sure. So that was a little bit disappointing, but it's definitely going to be a learning game. That would
have been such a big improvement.
As I said, it would have been a big improvement. I think if we'd done that last corner better as well, it could have been a 3 or 4 tenth improvement, which would have put us down to maybe a mid 24, which I would have been very, very happy with indeed. But on our next lap, we do exactly the same thing. But I wasn't really too bothered, because I kind of wanted to start outside the top 10. So I start in the medium tyres, so go from medium to soft, which is pretty powerful. But you can see Daniel Haddad 4 tenths clear on pole, a 24.0. It's just mind-boggling. And short qualifying is usually slower than full qualifying, like a Q3 kind of thing. So that's a very, very strong time from him. So definitely showing why he is an F1 Esports driver pace. And I'm really, really looking forward to racing against him, and just going against even more competitive competition. Definitely, I think in time just raises the level that you have within yourself. So that's what I'm really looking to do. So we've got 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights here. So they're going to be starting P13 out of 20, but we're going to be starting medium tyres, and we get such a good start here. So a really, really good launch off the line, even better than some people on softs ahead of me. So we're just going to go down the inside, up into the top 10 already. So be very, very aggressive and bold, because I knew if I pulled this off, but we got pushed a little bit out wide here. But we are still in P11. Had that illegal overtake just flashed up very temporarily. So I'm going to try and still hold my position down to the inside, but the soft runner's going to go around the outside of me. And I think I've got another soft runner as well. So we decided to let them go. And I'm still in P13, but I think I am now the highest at medium runner as the safety car, or I think the virtual safety car has come out now. So that was a pretty decent start. But as I said, I think we're the highest medium runner, so we are where we really want to be. And so far, really so good. So we're just going to wait for this virtual safety car to come in. But unfortunately, the only issue with that is that quite a few people have pitted. You can see about 3 people or 4 people have pitted there. And under the virtual safety car, that's a very, very big benefit, because all the cars are going so much slower around you. You don't really lose you don't lose anywhere near as much time as it would be going full speed. So they're in a pretty good position. Some other guys are pitting now, so we're up into P8. We do have Ignaz, who is a medium runner, actually up ahead of us. So my target now is to try and get within the DRS zone of him. And yeah, as I said, it's just such a different game compared to Xbox. Like Xbox, there's a very big wheel delay between you and what you're doing on the screen, and just a very big device lag or input lag. The game, it just feels a lot smoother on PC, but on Xbox I actually prefer the force feedback. Although there is this delay, I actually prefer how the car feels. So if you combine them together, that would be absolutely awesome. But I think it's just how the physics are and everything, and how you approach your setups and everything, definitely be a lot more aggressive on PC. You can run 55 brake bars or even lower quite a lot of the time, whereas on Xbox, really, no matter what setup you have, it's a very, very difficult task to be doing that. So there's very small tweaks in your driving that you have to do. But I'm really, really looking forward to the challenge. And you may notice that this video is quite a long one, because we do have a second race coming up. So hopefully you do enjoy that as well. But yeah, the PC experience has been pretty good so far. But we've pretty much done what we wanted to do. We've actually got within the DRS zone of Ignaz, and I think Haddad did a 0.4, we did a 0.9, so half a second slower, but we're on the slower compounder tyre. Pace was actually not too bad at this stage, especially it being Bahrain, which I think most people know is not a particularly favourite track of mine, but the pace is looking fairly good at this stage. And now we're into P4. Got some people still up ahead. You can see Spencer and Daniel Haddad are the only sub-runners who haven't pitted now, because they do have that luxury of that gap. And I think them two are probably the 2 fastest guys in this league. So that's what I'm really aiming towards, as we're now making a move on this Williams going into P3. And the gap up ahead is 6.2 to Haddad and about 6 seconds to my teammate. So we're going to keep an eye on that, see how we progress. And you can see we lost a little bit more time, so still just trying to get that raw speed, because the raw speed of these guys in this league is just absolutely insane, especially from those two. That just really gives you an indication. So we're going to go on to the soft tie now. I think they've even continued, so I wanted to try and get a little bit of an undercut and try and make these soft soil, because we've been held just a little bit by that McLaren. So that's quite frustrating there. See, new fastest up of a 27.2 as we then get jumped by this Williams as well, because we were held by the McLaren, which actually does cost you quite a lot of time. So that was pretty frustrating, but we're just going to stay on board now and see how much progress we can now make coming back through on these soft tyres, which should be, as you saw by leader's pace, should be quite consistent and durable coming towards the end of this race here. So we're coming up to some medium runners, and it's really important that I try and stick with Ignaz going through this traffic, because otherwise it's going to be a pretty difficult task to catch him, because we do seem to be fairly equal on pace as well. As he's going round the outside of someone of that Ferrari going to, he actually makes a mistake, then he gets DRS for the next car up ahead as well. So we've got to try and get a move. We've got to try and get past this Ferrari as soon as we possibly can, as my teammate has now entered the pits here. So we just got to try and get past these cars as efficiently and as quickly as possible here. still not setting a green middle sector despite being on these tyres, and we're going to be a little bit more aggressive with the ERS, especially coming off this corner, because Ignaz is going to make the overtake on that McLaren up ahead of us. So we're going to make this move on him, but he's going to have the DRS as well, but I don't think he's going to fight it too hard at all here, as we are going side by side into this turn 1. Need to get this McLaren ASAP. So coming off the exit here, we're not going to be close enough to get that move done, so we're just going to conserve our ERS because he still has the DRS on the Williams up ahead of him. So just all about just picking our moment when we're going to do it, but try and do it in a way where we're just going to be losing as little time as possible. So you can see the grip for the soft tyres really working through here. The Williams up ahead is extending that gap, so he's already out of the DRS zone. So I'd say probably going to exit this corner is where we want to be making a move. So coming off here now, using the DRS and the ERS, we're going to try and get back on the racing line, and we managed to do it quite nicely with a 1.7 gap up ahead. But moving on, he has actually caught a little bit more traffic, and that has allowed us to actually catch up, and we've got another pair of medium rounds up ahead of us here. So looking like we could actually get a fairly decent result for my first league race on the PC. Come through it here against this level of competition, I'd be very, very happy with. So right here now, I've used quite a lot of ERS to try and catch up, because I really did need to if I wanted to try and stay with the wheels here. But coming through into here, what we're going to do, we're going to go down the inside of the Mercedes here, doing a nice move. But we both leave each other quite just enough amount of room as his red light is flashing, so I know he's going to be lacking power on the exit. So coming off here now, we're going to push the overtake button, and we're going to try and get him and potentially the other car, the Alfa Romeo, up ahead of us here. So his red light is flashing as well. Really need to be overtaking him going to Thomas. So we're going to go down the inside of this here. Is he going to try and fight on the inside? I think he does a little bit. We're just going to have that better traction, and we have the DRS, and now we have actually managed to do what we wanted and stay with this Williams up ahead. He actually pokes his nose down the inside there, and he's actually come off worse. So a little bit of contact, but I don't think that move was ever going to work down the inside. So we're coming on here onto the start of the last lap now. You can see the guy ahead of me has set the fastest lap of the race. So we're going to make this overtake without using that much VS. He tries to give me a big squeeze going into Tom. I brake very, very late, but he actually manages to hold it round the outside. We're leaving some room on the inside, and he leaves me some room on the exit. But then he actually has a DRS because of the detection point of where it is located. So that was a little bit frustrating. So the only opportunities I have are really down this middle DRS straight, and then really going into the last corner and the exit of it there. So I really have to be as close as I possibly can. We are catching cars up ahead, but I think it's going to be a little bit too late, unfortunately. So we still have about 35% of the ERS. Really need to be as close as we can coming off the exit of this corner, but you can see he gets a very good exit, and I do think he has a fair amount of ERS on board as well, because we aren't really making many inroads into him going down that straight. So we only really have one more chance going into this last corner. Still have about 25% ERS remaining, so trying to get a really good exit coming off this corner now. Let's see what our straight line speed is like. He goes very defensive, but you can see again now his red light is flashing. You can see we are getting quite a bit of time in the straight lines. Daniel Haddad wins the race. Coming off the exit here, we're going to use it again, but it's just not going to be enough. I don't think we're going cross the line. Are we going to try and get this position? No, we don't.
Oh, fuck.
We come in 8th place, and that was good fun doing it in my first race there, and definitely
11 seconds, so.
Just a completely new level of pace. And I think a lot of that is to do with just myself.
Let's go.
Just learning the game on PC. But also the competition was very, very tough there. But now we move on to Monza, and we actually do a one-shot qualifying, if you saw that format before. So Monza is a track I don't particularly enjoy, but seem to have good races. And I just said to myself, in this one-shot quali, anything could happen. I'm just going to try and throw everything at it and just see what happens, pretty much. So going through into this turn 1 here, we're going to try and be braking as late as we possibly can, trying to hook the car on its inside. That we managed to do that actually very, very well. Typically on the steering wheel, it will tell you after the first sector where you are compared to everyone else on your lap. So for now it says P1, but I don't think that will probably be the case. There's no purple sector there, so I know I haven't set the purple first sector. Taking this very, very nicely. I've been a bit cautious going through those corners because it really can just throw you out, but managing to do these very, very nicely. Going through into this one, do we get a good exit fit? Yes, we do. So just a very clean, tidy lap, but quite a committed one so far. Now going into Ascari, one of the most famous corners on the calendar. Let's see how we do this. We could have taken a bit more on the inside, but overall I'd say it's a good 7 or 8 out of 10. So doing exactly what we needed to do. You can see some people have retired because when you invalidate, it just, well, you just retire and there's no point really continuing the lap here. So overall it's been a pretty clean, steady lap. Where is this going to put us? Coming across the line, it's an 18.6, which P3? I was fairly happy with that, and that has put us P3, 2/10 off pole, my teammate, and just over a 10th off Haddad, who is an esports driver. I was very, very happy of that indeed. So we're moving to the start of the race here, trying to work together with Sven because this is actually a team championship. So as we've got 5 lights here, trying to get a good start, and we get a pretty decent launch. We'll be getting really good launches off PC, better than Daniel Haddad next to us in the Aston Martin. So we're going to try and go around the outside of this turn 1 here, just to try and help my teammate a little bit, leaving plenty of room on the exit, and he gets that slightly better exit. Can't see him yet, but he is there now. So we're going to try and go for a drag race down into here, but you can see the speed that he has. He was definitely running a lot lower downforce than me because his speed was just insane in a straight line. So I know it's in the corners that I'm going to be hopefully quicker than him. You can see go through here, we're definitely getting a bit more speed in the corner. So he is just absolutely rapid in a straight line. You'll be able to see it again, like the takeoff he has. It's just absolutely...
Thank you, Sven. He tried to give me a line around the outside.
Ridiculous. So you can see Sven was trying to help me, give me a situation again, going to Telwaza, playing a very, very good teammate there. But I was just really enjoying racing against this level of competition again, with ex-F1 esports drivers or F1 esports drivers like Haddad. It just really does try and push you to that other level. And although you might not succeed the first time when going against people like this, that's the way I learned to be better myself, is to play against people who I consider to be faster than me. And over time, you learn things off them subconsciously, and it's just a really, really good experience. So right now, my goal is to just try and stay within the DRS zone of these guys. If I can do that, then maybe we can actually pull off a very, very unexpected result, which I already did in the qualifying, because as I said before, I didn't have that much time to prepare for these races, so that was a very, very surprising result. But right here, we're just doing everything we need to do, just try to not use as much ERS as I can. But you will see Sven, I think, was pushing pretty hard here, and Haddad is just so fast in a straight line. I was definitely starting to struggle to keep up just that little bit. 25% is a bit more of a sprint than an endurance like a 50% is. So normally I'm typically a bit better at consistently doing 80% laps over the course of a long race, but here you definitely need to push a little bit more, and that's what esports is like. It's definitely a bit more of a sprint where you don't really have to worry about managing the tyres or anything. It's just about going as fast as possible, because any let up in pace, you're just going to be punished by other people. But you can see we've got really good braking ability, so that again signifies to me that we do have a bit more downforce than Haddad. And these setups I'm using here have been shared on my YouTube member Discord already, so if you're interested in using it, because I felt this one in particular was very, very good around Monza. I just need to be a bit more confident within myself, but we're doing the job so far at staying with Haddad, seeing in these corners again that we are just making up that time, but it's just on the exit here, he just shoots off like an absolute rocket. But we do have the DRS, so now we have done exactly what we needed to do, as we now have a virtual safety car, which could prove to be very problematic, because if my teammate pits or anyone else pits and they were thinking about it, they could gain a pretty big advantage in the pits there. And I decided not to, because I wanted to follow what these two guys did, because a soft tyre is actually a very, very good tyre around this track. It's it's a lot faster than the mediums, which are very, very poor. And you can see we've got quite a big gap to the medium runner up behind us. It's normally like half a second, even more per lap on these softs. So I'm just trying my best to stay with Haddad, who I think has lost the DRS to my teammate, because even using the overtake button, we weren't actually gaining that much in a straight line. And this is not really what I want, because I really wanted us to be very close together. And now I have Haddad, an esports driver, pushing as hard as he can. This is going to really test how much raw pace I actually have around this track right now. So we do a purple first sector, help with that DRS here, but going through here, we're just taking it a bit too cautious. And you can see he's gained some time in those corners, while I'm the one who really needs to be gaining that time back. So we gained it just enough to get within the DRS zone, but I think he's pushing very, very hard now to try and get within the DRS zone. Sven, we still have the DRS ourselves, but you can see by the delta, we're not really gaining anything. I think we gained literally just over a tenth by going through here, despite him having the DRS. You can see we're having to take some extra measures to try and stay with him, and I think we're just about maybe going to be doing it again, maybe not, going into this last corner, and actually have lost the DRS here now. So it's a really big struggle. I'm having to use way more than I would really like, because you can see Sven is pushing very hard as well. Let's see what her dad does. He does a 0.4, we do a 0.6, so just 0.2 difference from him. And I was just so desperate to get back within this DRS zone, so we're missing the apex there. We really need to hook the car on the inside of that corner, but we're not going to give up. We're just going to take the risk and give it everything. You can see that medium runner, how much time he has lost, which again just signifies how much slower the medium tyres are compared to softs. Now we're taking a bit more risk coming through it here. We've actually managed to gain a little bit more of that time back, because I think Haddad is going to be within the DRS zone of Sven here, but we're not going to get it again going through into the section. So we're still going to keep on pushing to try and get within this DRS zone, which I think Haddad isn't using the ERS now, since he does have the DRS from my teammate. Taking a bit more risk coming through here. You can see we're gaining time on both of them going through Ascari. Now we're just going to use all of our ERS again just to get back within that detection point, which I felt was just very, very crucial. And I think we have done enough to get back within the DRS. So we have been pushing very hard this lap, under 20%. But if we look at the straight line speed of Haddad once again with the DRS, he is still just pulling away. He is just very, very fast. But we are starting to bunch up again, and that's what I was really hoping for, missing that apex once again, really closing in on my teammate. So I was just hoping that they would both not be pushing that hard now. And I'm just, again, just trying very, very hard. And a safety car has now come out. And that's not actually that great news for me, because you will see I tried to leave a gap, because my teammate is obviously going to pit under the safety car. Because double stacking in this game, even if you tell Jeff you're going to the pits, it just seems to, just take forever to change over. And I couldn't afford to lose or leave that much time. As you can see, we're going to be held quite a lot here. It's because these people behind, they're probably going to overtake me. So I didn't have the luxury of leaving 20 seconds or anything like that. I had to try and time it the best I could. You can see a bit of frustration there, but I don't really think there was that much I could have done, and we're going to be losing some extra positions now.
Fucking hell, do I ever get any fucking luck in this game?
Yeah, I don't know if that was luck or whatever. I don't think I could have done more, because if I waited more, then I would have lost those positions anyway. So I don't think there was really too much I could have done in that scenario. But I decided to do something different with my frustration and the safety car staying out for another lap. I decided to go on the softs. Although I'm going to be near the back of the grid, I thought the softs are just so powerful. I just thought, why not? So, yeah. Don't know if that was the right decision or not, because you can see there are quite a few people on the mediums. I just thought, you know what, I'm just going to go on the softs and just see what I can do coming towards the end of this race. So, as the safety car is finishing, we're not particularly as close as I would have liked to have been going through into this turn one. So I have to use a bit more ERS than I would have wanted to. But let's see what we can do here. We do have some soft runners up ahead of us, which having these special softs isn't going to make too much of a difference, as we actually get a 3-second time penalty. So just how races go sometimes here. But I was just really looking to just have fun with my first experience with PC against a group of drivers such as this. So I'm just going to give it my absolute best from here now, as there's a little bit of an incident here. This guy's going off, so we pick up one position behind the two Haas's, then getting the inside of the next Haas here. So decent first lap after the safety car here. We're going to use all of our ERS to try and get past, because obviously DRS isn't enabled for 3 laps until after a safety car has gone back into the pits here. So we're going to go around the outside of him, getting that move done, and now we're up into P14 with the aim to try and get back within the pack again. So we're moving on to the last lap now. We're up into P9 in fact here. So I think some people have pitted or had incidents themselves, but I haven't got the DRS on the car ahead of me, so I have this guy behind me trying to go around the outside of me, which he does. He didn't leave that much room here. That was very, very touch and go, which I wasn't particularly happy with, but we just about managed to make it through unscathed. But I think I missed the DRS on the car ahead of me before that corner by like 1,000th of a second or something, which was very, very frustrating. He goes in deep. We're going to try and go for the switchback, but then we end get cut off, so we weren't able to do that here. But I definitely felt I was running a lot more downforce than people around me, because you're about to see again, we don't get a particularly great exit coming off here, but we do have the DRS, and we're not really gaining that much time at all. So going through to here, we've got a bit of the dirty air, so I'm not being able to get in front of it, but we get a very good exit coming up here. Now we're using the ERS. I don't know if this red light is going to be fashion, but now it is fashion. But you can see we're still not gaining that much time. Going to straight line, going through into Parabolka. He actually goes very wide, so we're getting a very, very nice switchback here, but still the speed, we just don't have that straight line speed. And coming across the line, where we go, we come P11 because we had that time penalty as well. But that was my first experience in league racing on PC. I hope you enjoyed that, because I certainly did. There'll be many more videos from this league coming soon, which I definitely improve a lot more on the pace as well. So I also want to thank my extra rotation members who have joined recently: PS, Edge, Dende09, Gerald, Farmer for rejoining, and Russian. Thank you so much for joining Extra Rotation Club. I will be doing one-to-one tuition coaching and more coaching sessions. If you join my Discord and membership, you will be getting a discount on those, so that will be coming very, very soon. Thank you so much for support on the channel. I hope you enjoyed this pretty long video, and I will catch you very, very soon. Peace.